Marriage, a word that will either fluff up love bubbles in the hearts of many, or make one think of horrors that exist in this universe. The issue of marriage has always been a topic of hot debate amongst the Jedi. To remain celibate for the sake of following the will of the Force? Or is perhaps love a natural part of life that a Jedi must embrace and partake in? Since the Jedi mostly default to the former, surely their sworn enemies, the Sith, will gladly embrace it. Well, the situation is still far more complicated than that, and it really depends on which Sith we are referring to and why. Even though one of the tenets of the Sith code is to embrace one's passions, it can be argued that love and romance can also be seen as a distraction from the greater goals of the Sith Order. There's a reason why Sidious wanted to ensure that Padme died. Her death is what pushes Anakin further into the dark side, and more importantly, he will lose a person who anchored him towards hope and goodness, leading him closer to Darth Vader. In the Rule of Two era, secrecy and discipline were of utmost importance. The apprentice's devotion is directed fully toward his master and learning the ways of the dark side. There can be no place for another in his heart. But beyond this specific era of the Sith Order, there are some instances where the apprentice actually becomes romantically involved with the master. This could also lead to some issues down the road. A duo like, say, Revan and Bastila, their Force bond is what strengthens their power, whether they are Jedi or rulers of the Sith Empire. But ultimately, the power dynamic will still very much be dominated by one side of the relationship. Without Revan, Bastila was struggling to keep the Sith Empire intact, while other factions vied for power and dominations. So, unions amongst the ranks of the Sith aren't really free from scrutiny nonetheless. While they preach following one's emotions, there are many issues that come about with these relationships. And what about a union between, say, a Sith and a normal person? Or even a Jedi and a Sith? Quayer has this remark: when you get some intrusive thoughts about Visas Marr in Kotor 2.
See to it that you do not ever think such thoughts. Mating with her will bring more harm than you know.
In addition, we actually do get some interesting examples and statistics from the Old Republic MMORPG, where Imperial bureaucracy is at its peak. After all, you do play as several Force-sensitive characters with multiple romance storylines as Sith characters. According to Malavai Quinn, an Imperial soldier, you can romance as a female Sith Lord. Sith are twice as likely to commit adultery on their non-Force sensitive partners, and these said partners have an increased mortality rate of 34%. It is evident that this power dynamic is skewed even more when one partner has access to the Force while the other doesn't. The Sith partners are less likely to reciprocate the affection they receive, simply due to their prejudice and perceived supremacy, or their preference for another. And I think this is also a great time to bring out Valkorion, because he was one of those Sith who actually achieved the ultimate goals and powers, and decided out of boredom to just start a family. What could go wrong? Well, turns out everything could go wrong. So definitely not the best father figure or the best husband in the first place. Senya definitely made the right decision to divorce him in the end and fight against him in the Old Republic MMORPG. As for a union between a Jedi and a Sith, we can look no further than Lana Beniko. But she is an extreme outlier that doesn't fully reflect the nature of this union. Lana's demeanor is, after all, very different from other Sith. She's more calculated and professional. She views working with others as a strength, not a burden. And honestly, it can be said that she's sacrificed quite a lot to be in a relationship with the main character, as far as working for the Republic goes, and never to return to Droman Cass, being isolated from other Sith. While it was never expressed explicitly in dialogue, I would still say that this relationship is not without its challenges. Nana is an exception to the norm. Her relationship with a Jedi of all people reflects her compatibility with such a person, in spite of her titles and origins as a Sith. She's learned to work well with others, and falls much better into the camp of collaboration and a Jedi. her personality fits well for functional partnership with a light-sided person nonetheless. Marriage is a rather complicated institution. The successful examples that we see in the game do not really fully reflect the unique complications and challenges each couple may face, the individual sacrifices that come with it. As players of the Old Republic series, I think we may have a warped sense of romance, and perhaps maybe sometimes too ideal, a way of seeing how relationships should work. But ultimately, there are just too many factors at play a fixed role-playing game could never fully teach us. There is never a magic bullet that fixes all of one's challenge, but rather whether we see value in it and whether we want to make it work or fight for it. And that's it for this video. I do make a variety of content in relation to Star Wars, particularly the Old Republic, so I would appreciate it if you do check out the rest of my channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.